Today's Wednesday. We're going to go over some of the review questions, and I wanted to go over the announcement from yesterday. So if you go to Canvas and you go to announcements, if you failed either Unit 5 or Unit 6, you're going to have to complete the course enrichment for those units. If you would like to receive a 70, you can read this. If you go to your courses in Canvas and you go to SHS-E, and let me know if that doesn't show up for you, it should. But if you go to this course in Canvas, here are all of the things for Unit 5. So you would read through the notes, take this quiz, read through these notes, take this quiz, and then there's also like a page of notes that you fill out that goes along with that. So this is what the notes look like for Unit 5. They're on the back desk. This is for Unit 5. It's just front and back. You fill out the notes that go along with that section and you take 2 quizzes. And then if you failed Unit 6 test and you want to recover that grade for a 70, something I didn't mention, you have to pass the quizzes, and there's only a limited number of times you get to take the quizzes. That's for people who want to recover Unit 5 or Unit 6 test. This is all the stuff you would do for Unit 6 test. You would have to take all 4 quizzes, pass all 4 quizzes, and do the notes that go along with that. Again, they're on the back desk. And the notes for Unit 6, let me show you what they look like. They look like this. Again, they're labeled and they're on the back desk in my classroom. If you want to do that, you have until March 15th to complete those quizzes and complete those notes, and you have to pass the quizzes. Let me know that you've done this, and I will change your grade to a 70 for either or both of those tests. Okay, Chris? Any questions? All right, so get out your Unit 3. We had 3 questions yesterday, so get that out. If you would like to pull up the PowerPoint on a computer, on a phone, you may do so at this point. But let's look at those Unit 3 questions. Okay, and I'm gonna upload this to Canvas so you have it, like I did the ones from yesterday. So this one says, which value is an irrational number? Remember, an irrational number is a number, guys, off your phones, headphones out. An irrational number is kind of like an irrational person. It goes on and on forever and it doesn't make sense. So it doesn't repeat, it doesn't have a pattern, it can't be written as a fraction. So when you simplify these, like B, C, and D, when you simplify B, 2 times 8 is 16. What is the square root of 16? 4. 3 times 12 is 36. The square root of 36 is 6 over 5. If it's a fraction, if it can be expressed as a fraction, it is not irrational. Guys, take your headphones off. Right? And then D is square root of 3 minus square root of 3, which is just 0. So when you simplify A, 4 plus square root 7, it gives you 4 plus square root 7 if you were to type that in your calculator. But the decimal version is 6.645751311. Do those numbers repeat? Or do they don't have a pattern, right? They don't repeat. So that's got to be irrational. Whenever you get an imperfect square, like square root 7, square root 3, square root 2, square root 10, all of those are irrational. Okay. That was question 12. Any concerns about that? Question 13. All right, so you had basically 5 problems here at the bottom, and then you had to drag them to the equivalent value. So what I did, just take a scratch sheet of paper when you get to this kind of question and simplify these. Think about your perfect squares. If you have to make this list, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. make that list if you have a hard time with square roots. All I did, okay, I multiplied this and then, well, I looked at the square root of 250 and I said, okay, I can rewrite that as 25 times 10, and 25 is a perfect square. Square root of 25 is 5, and then you multiply 2 times 5 and you get 10 square root 10. So this expression is equivalent to 10 square root 10, which is what you can't see over here for number 3. That's what it says up here, 10 square root 10. Sorry. 10 square root 10. That's the number 3. So that one would go there. You would drag that one there. 5 square root 2 times square root 5. Remember, if it's outside the radical, it stays outside. If it's inside, it stays inside. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 5 on the inside of the radical is 10. So that's just 5 square root 10. So that's the second column. Okay. 5 square root 5 plus 5 square root 5. Well, what's 5 plus 5? 10. So we've got 10 square root 5s. But that's kind of like saying, what's 5x plus 5x? That's 10x, right? It's just got a radical with it. So that one went with number 1. This fourth one here, square root 50 times square root 5. I simplified square root 50 as 25 times 2. Square root of 25 is 5. So we've got 5 square root 2 times the square root of 5. You know, keep the numbers on the outside. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. So that's just 5 square root 10. Okay, so that's equivalent to column number 2. And then the last one was this square root 5 times square root 10 times square root 10, which gives you the square root of 500. There's probably 100, sorry, 100 times 5. You could have done that. Let me show you that one. I just said, okay, 25 times 20. But if we do that, 500, we can simplify this as 100 times 5, and that's just 10 square root 5, which is the same thing as column number 1. That way is easier than what I did down here. Okay. So whenever you have radicals, think about your perfect squares, make that list, and try to divide with those numbers, because you know those are perfect squares and you can easily find the square root of those numbers. Okay. And then question 14. Which number is equivalent to 5 square root 8 times 3 square root 4? Well, we're going to multiply 5 times 3. And we get 15, right? On the inside of the radical, what's 8 times 4? 32. Well, you can rewrite 32 by saying it's 16 times 2. The square root of 16 is 4. 15 times 4 is 60. So it's 60 square root 2. Are there any concerns about this? We good? Okay. So what you need to work on for the remainder of class if you go back to Monday, go back to that PowerPoint, and you want to do, let's say 15 through 19. You want to do questions 15 through 19 on this PowerPoint, okay? So starting with 15 here. So 15 through 19, that's what you're working on. Record your answers. Try not to put just A, B, C, or D. Try to put something to help you remember that question. So I know that you actually did some work and you didn't just write A, B, C, or D. After you finish those questions, please finish your Delta Math for units 1 through 3. I will add unit 4 here. I will add the unit 4 Delta Math here. I have not done so, but I will today. Again, both Delta Math assignments are due Friday. Okay. So that's what we're working on for the rest of class. If you have questions, just let me know.